Well, I think what's significantly different about this is this idea of the seamless day,
Yes.
and that really the two groups coming together with the common goal of the child.
Correct.
And how are they going to do that most effectively? And that's sort of the ideal of how I think we all want to see this go, because obviously schools and after-school programs share that common goal of the youth. I think what's going to be challenging about the partnerships is that it's really sort of starting from the point of the school building and the school's agenda, and then how do we integrate after school into that in a meaningful way that's mutually respectful of what the two groups have to bring to the table. And I think that's going to be definitely a challenge, because in many ways we're talking about two different cultures. Yes, we both have the goal of benefiting children, but we so much come from different philosophies. For instance, I think about the philosophy of the after-school field, which really in many ways grew out of early childhood development, seeing young people as a whole child. And it's not just about cognitive, which is the primary focus of schools, but really about the social, the emotional, the personal, the physical, and increasingly that's important, and the cognitive. And that the after school field really sees the whole child and wants to support the whole child equally, whereas the schools see it as cognitive development with these other things that might help in the cognitive arena. And I hope that the schools can start to kind of recognize the power of the after school philosophy and how important it is to support that whole child.
Absolutely.
But I think that's it's an opportunity and potentially
and there
a
are
challenge.
There are some examples where it's beginning to work.
Yeah.
We look to some of the work that's coming out of New York City through TASK, the After School Corporation has a model that I think where we may be seeing some significant partnerships and shared leadership model where their decision making about this seamless day can really work, and where the role of the community-based organizations isn't just at the end of the day.
Or not just an add-on or a supplement. Right?
That's right. Just sprinkled throughout the day might really infuse not only academic goals, but youth development goals all along the day. And I would look forward to a school day where youth development and academics are blended in a way that it's taking care of the children's needs. And let us not forget the importance of physical activity. More and more we're really looking at infusing more time for kids to be active, to be physical, to be healthy. And so while there may be some interesting challenges along the way, I think that what we as advocates of the youth development field ought to be promoting is really an openness to a new model. Thinking about, you've got an expertise and you have a history and you have solutions that have worked over the last 2 or 3 decades. Let's bring those solutions to the table now and really try to figure it out and not resist it, but embrace it.
Which I think is hard because, part of the resistance is around funding and concerns about funding. Let's hope that funding can support these programs to continue, either integrated within schools, independent and complementing, or a little bit of both.
That's right.
Because in many of these expanded learning time schools are actually ending at 4:30, which still leaves that gap in terms of working parents and what are children going to do from 4:30 to 6 or 6:30. So it could be that there's both the integration and the independent after-school programs that still continue to exist.
Right, and I do think school districts need some guidance here.
Yeah.
Because this scenario, this idea that you could actually close the program at 4 or 4:30 in the afternoon, we would be going back decades to the latchkey situation.
Right,
to
exactly.
the latchkey situation.
Let's really go back to the future, right?
Yeah, and we don't want to go back there, nor do we want to be only a custodial program where all they're basically doing is just supervising children during that last hour, an hour and a half.
Right. If you have such a small segment of time, it's not usable time. It can't be valuable time.
And it's not financially viable.
I think that's an excellent point. And, people like you will need to speak out and make that
Yeah.
point that we don't want to set up a system where, yes, we're integrating, the out of school time programs into the school day, but then having it end at 4:30 and what happens now?
Right.
It really needs to consider some of these other needs that the after school community has taken care of in addition to providing enrichment.
Right.
It also serves a great resource for parents.
Exactly.
And an opportunity is, I was reading some of the materials about this, the opportunity for more families to come into schools and actually be able to connect not only with out of school time professionals, but teachers, if this expanded learning day extends to the point that parents are actually coming into the school in the evenings to pick up children. And that's a new opportunity.
Absolutely.